Hello, everyone. My name is Stephen Malanafi, and I'm originally from Shrub Oak, New York, but I currently reside in Western Massachusetts. After high school graduation, I had no interest in pursuing a college degree. Instead, I joined the United States Air Force. The military has afforded me the opportunity and the access to have traveled to all parts of the world while working with some of the most phenomenal people from all walks of life. I have lived in Europe, where I've traveled extensively from Stonehenge in England to Roman Colosseum in Rome to the Great Parthenon in Athens. I've been deployed to combat operations in Afghanistan. I've lived on the volcanic islands of Hawaii, and I've also worked in the untouched wilderness of Alaska. Growing as a professional in the military, I have learned the importance of developing my education to become a better leader. Education is an important aspect of leadership, and that is something I've worked towards over the course of my military career. I believe that education is the cornerstone to making good leaders in the military, and for those leaders to be continuously successful after hanging up their uniform. I want to start my presentation with an explanation of why I originally decided to pursue a degree in adult education. Over the course of a 17-year military career, I have seen countless military members squander their hard-earned educational benefits. This is due to a number of reasons, mostly due to the fact that service members can be misguided or unguided when it comes to some of the pitfalls that they can encounter while pursuing higher education. I've seen too many service members pursue frivolous degrees that offer nothing more than a hollow title and a hefty bill. I've also seen service members fall victim to scrupulous colleges that offer quick degree programs that have very low graduation rates. On almost all major military installations, there is an education center staffed with Department of Defense employees armed with the knowledge on how to navigate the collegiate world. These employees are essentially guidance counselors. These guidance counselors assist with educational direction and benefit assistance to our military members. To be qualified as one of these education service guidance counselors, the minimum educational requirement is a degree in adult education. After completion of my military service commitment, I plan on pursuing a job as an educational guidance counselor. I feel my experience in higher education, coupled with the tools and methods I've obtained from the CSU Adult Education Program, it would make me a great source of information for our military members in their pursuit of education. My intentions of helping military veterans with their educational goals has and always will be at the forefront of my degree program. However, a funny thing happened to me on the way to the forum. A second goal had slowly emerged. It definitely didn't happen all at once. This goal slowly developed over the course of the entire program with the help of some extracurricular activities. The second goal that emerged was about helping veterans dealing with mental issues by utilizing wilderness therapy, a program which has its roots can be found in experiential learning methods. Some of these issues include, but are definitely not limited to, post-traumatic stress syndrome, traumatic brain injuries, and sexual assault traumas. This goal grew out of a few different experiences I had prior to and during my coursework. I myself had the opportunity to participate in a Veterans Wilderness Therapy excursion. The program was a week-long river rafting trip down the Deschutes River in Oregon, with none other than the same organization credited with starting the experiential learning movement, Outward Bound. While the trip itself was a great adventure, I couldn't help but feel that something was missing. At the time, I didn't know what, just that I felt like something from the experiences was not being capitalized on. It wasn't until I started this program in adult education that I started putting the pieces together about what was missing from that trip. With the experience of the Outward Bound trip in tow, I started to venture down the path of trying to understand adventure therapy and, in particular, what was missing from my experience with Outward Bound. I first delved into this area with my first in-depth research paper in my program, Introduction to Research Methods, EDRM 600. This course really allowed me to research this topic while being coached by the CSU staff. On completion of the research paper, I knew this was the direction that I wanted to go in and really focused on during my program. I started to look forward to more projects that would allow me to center my topics around experiential learning in an effort to widen my breadth of knowledge in the use of these methods as a future wilderness therapy facilitator. From that course on, whenever a class would offer a project with a personal choice of topic, I could focus on experiential learning. This allowed me to develop a more in-depth analysis of the instructional method. Since I was able to concentrate on this method during my degree program, I was able to start putting the pieces of the puzzle together to answer my question of what was missing from my outward bound experience. With each class and project, I was able to understand a little bit more of the experiential learning methods and theories, which gave me another piece of the puzzle. I filled in a giant piece of the puzzle when I participated in the experiential learning seminar. This took place at the CSU Mountain campus. It was in this course that I was able to see firsthand the application of the tenets of experiential learning being used to facilitate a course on none other than experiential learning. This bridged the gap from the classroom to a tangible application within wilderness therapy. The seminar focused on the nuts and bolts of experiential learning. Since experiential learning is at the core of my future endeavors, I thought it would be in my best interest to participate in this course over other electives, and I was not disappointed. This class expanded upon what I thought I knew about experiential learning, which after the first day I concluded was pretty minimal. The seminar allowed me to see experiential learning in action, specifically the 5 tenets of experiential learning. I can't say enough about this great course, the CSU Mountain campus, and the facilitator. For me, I would say of all the coursework, this class was probably the most effective way of applying the learning method. I can see the application of experiential learning using multiple facets in my facilitation of both active duty and veterans population. I look forward to utilizing this method more often and continuously learning how to facilitate experiential learning events effectively. The Multicultural and Special Populations course was another influential part of my AET program. I will be totally honest and say it wasn't until well after taking the course that I came to realize the importance of addressing inclusion and accessibility as a facilitator, especially when it comes to wilderness therapy. As a middle-aged, moderately fit, self-identified outdoorsy person, it's very easy for me to apply my athletic abilities to the courses I'd like to facilitate. Including the special populations in the veterans program I plan on working with in the future is critical to the program's overall success. As a facilitator, it's important to make sure that all content is accessible to everybody. I've seen the importance of this firsthand when I was invited to participate as an observer in the Military Outdoors Program hike led by a nonprofit organization, the Sierra Club out of New York City. Some of the members attending the event were over 70 years old. Needless to say, they did not make it to the end of the hike. This opened my eyes to the fact that there are veterans out there that are not young and fit and outdoorsy. We need to make sure that all courses being offered to veterans with different abilities, like veterans who may be disabled or using prosthetics. It was after the completion of this event that I feel that my entire degree program became full circle. With the understanding of experiential learning in my toolkit, and from what I learned while participating in the very well-led program created by the facilitators from the Sierra Club's military program, I finally found out what was missing from the first event I participated in with Outward Bound. I now know it was not just one thing, but a multitude of methods, ideas, and considerations that were missing. Now, I'm not implying that the facilitators from Outward Bound were inadequate in their program. In fact, the facilitators were very well educated and experienced in leading river rafting trips. However, what I did discover from the culmination of this program was that Outward Bound was lacking in two areas. First, working with military personnel dealing with PTSD, and secondly, how to facilitate a meaningful and constructive program for that population. Because of the knowledge gained from the Adult and Education Training Program at CSU, I was able to take a step back, and I now see how to create a meaningful learning within such a specific population of students. It is my intention as a professional to participate in even more excursions where I can apply these theories and methods that I have learned while pursuing my master's degree. Beyond that, I hope to find a position as a program director where I can coordinate these wilderness programs for returning veterans. I feel that the tools I now possess from the adult education program, coupled with my leadership skills and life experience obtained from almost 20 years of military experience, have given me a unique ability to close the gap between the academic world and the veterans community to propel this field into the forefront of treating mental illness. In conclusion, I want to end this presentation on a personal note. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to both the facilitators at Colorado State University and to my fellow classmates. Out of 300 plus students that graduated in my high school class, I was probably ranked in the bottom 10. However, that just goes to show you that high school may not be for everybody. But the fact that I am now just a couple weeks away from attaining my master's degree in, ironically enough, adult education shows that sometimes people just need to find that vein of education that drives them. For me, I found that vein in helping the veterans population, and now in more ways than one. I owe this to my fellow classmates and teachers for helping me along the way while participating in the various projects, conversations, and interactions throughout this course. Again, thank you to everybody, and I hope to see you out on the trail.